Have you ever felt like your emotions are controlling everything in your life? From irrational anger to uncontrollable anxiety, is there a way to take control of them? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, once said, "Peace is not found by changing the world, but by changing how we react to it." But how can we apply this in the modern world? Today, in this video from Wisdom Daily, we will explore the 5 Stoic methods Marcus Aurelius used to control his emotions. You will not only learn how to master your emotions, but also achieve peace in every challenging situation. Let's get started and find out how Stoicism can change the way you face the world around you. Method 1. Accepting fate. What do you do when life doesn't go according to plan? Sometimes, things don't unfold as we wish. You've probably found yourself stuck in traffic, losing a loved one, or facing unexpected challenges. Feeling frustrated, angry, or hopeless when things go wrong is completely normal. But the real question is, what do we do when we face these situations? The important thing is to recognize that some things in life are beyond our control. In Stoic philosophy, one of the core principles is to accept the things that cannot be changed and focus on what we can control. Marcus Aurelius said, "Life is what happens to you, and how you react to it is what matters." Imagine you're stuck in traffic on a busy morning. You can't change the situation, but how you react to it is what determines your emotional state. Accepting fate doesn't mean ignoring the bad things, but rather learning how to respond to them calmly. When facing undesirable situations, instead of getting angry or feeling helpless, Stoicism teaches us to accept them as part of life. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means realizing there are things beyond our control. When we can't change our circumstances, at least we can change how we face them. Everyday example. You're on your way to work and hit severe traffic. You could choose to get angry, frustrated, tired, or even yell in the car. But this only increases your stress, harms your health, and doesn't solve the problem. Instead, you can accept that it's something you cannot avoid. You could choose to listen to an interesting podcast, relax, and instead of being angry, you could think positively about using this time to learn something new. Another example, think about the loss of a loved one. This is an unavoidable pain in life. We cannot control their passing, but we can control how we face the grief. Instead of mourning endlessly and feeling robbed of an opportunity, we can view it as a part of life's natural process. Accepting that death is inevitable helps us cope with loss more strongly, find peace, and feel compassion. So, why is acceptance important? Accepting fate not only helps reduce stress, but also helps us find peace of mind. When we accept that there are things we cannot control, we are no longer overwhelmed by them. Instead of struggling to fight against reality, we can focus on what we can change and manage. This not only helps reduce stress, but also makes us feel freer in life. Now that we understand that accepting the things we can't change is an essential part of Stoicism, how can we change our perspective and manage our emotions in the next difficult situation? Let's continue exploring the method of challenging your perspective, which helps you see every situation in a new light. Method 2. Challenge your perspective. Emotions can deceive you. You've surely found yourself in stressful situations where emotions take over all your thoughts. When faced with challenges, it's easy to view everything through a negative lens, believing that everything is working against you. But is everything really as bad as we think? Or is there a way to change our perspective and reduce those negative emotions? The key is, our emotions and thoughts can be changed. According to Stoic philosophy, changing your perspective is the key to controlling your emotions. When faced with a challenge, instead of feeling overwhelmed or defeated, you can change how you view the situation. Rather than seeing it as an obstacle, view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Positive thinking is the first step toward mastering your emotions. Challenging your perspective isn't about trying to avoid negative emotions, but rather about acknowledging them and redirecting your thoughts in a more constructive way. For example, instead of feeling angry when criticized, you can change your perspective to see it as an opportunity to improve yourself. Instead of viewing failure as a sign of incompetence, view it as a lesson that will help you do better next time. So, how do you change your perspective? The first step is self-awareness. When you feel negative emotions taking control, pause for a moment and ask yourself, how am I viewing this situation? Try asking yourself, is there another way I can look at this situation? Only when you change your perspective can you change your emotions. Real-life example. Think about a situation where you feel disappointed for not achieving a goal. Instead of seeing it as a failure, try viewing it as an opportunity to improve yourself. Every time you don't achieve something you want, it's a step closer to personal growth and future success. Only when you change your perspective will you be able to control your emotions and keep moving forward. Positive thinking isn't easy, but it's a skill you can practice every day. When you change the way you view situations, you don't just gain better control over your emotions, you also achieve inner peace. This is the power that Stoic philosophy offers. Now that we understand the power of changing our perspective, how do we mentally prepare for the worst-case scenarios and not be overwhelmed by them? Let's dive into the method of negative visualization, a powerful tool to help you master your emotions in difficult situations. Method 3. Practice negative visualization. When you imagine worst-case scenarios, do you feel anxiety and fear? You've likely felt nervous before facing significant challenges in life. A big interview, speaking in front of an audience, or simply dealing with a situation beyond your control. These are moments when our minds can easily get caught up in negative imaginations and the anxiety grows. But negative visualization is not about focusing on failure. This is a Stoic method that helps you prepare mentally for the worst possible scenarios so that you're not overwhelmed when they actually happen. Negative visualization isn't about dwelling on bad things, but about preparing yourself to face them calmly and rationally. When you've mentally prepared for the worst, you won't feel overwhelmed or surprised if things turn out that way. This method helps reduce anxiety and keeps you calm in any situation. For example, if you have an important interview, instead of imagining failure and feeling anxious, you can visualize the worst-case scenario, not getting the job or being unable to answer a question. By visualizing this, you can plan how to handle it, such as how to stay calm, learn from mistakes, or not let failure affect you too deeply. When reality doesn't turn out as badly as you imagined, you'll feel relieved and more confident. The key is, negative visualization helps you master your emotions in difficult situations. We can't avoid failure or hardship, but we can mentally prepare ourselves to face them. Anxiety or fear arises when we feel we have no control over the situation. By visualizing worst-case scenarios, you become more proactive, and the feeling of anxiety greatly decreases. Real-life example. You've probably stood before an important exam or meeting, worrying you might not perform well. Instead of getting caught up in anxiety, try visualizing the worst that could happen, failing the exam or making a major mistake in the meeting. But that doesn't mean you should give up. You can think about how you would react when it happens. Maybe you'll learn from your mistakes, or you'll find an opportunity to improve. Negative visualization helps not only reduce anxiety, but also allows you to face every challenge more calmly and confidently. When you've prepared for the worst-case scenario, you'll feel less pressure when things don't go as expected. And sometimes, when you visualize a bad situation, you realize that you can control it much better than you initially thought. After preparing for the worst-case scenarios, the next thing we need to do is to cultivate self-awareness. Writing in a journal is a great method to strengthen the ability to reflect on our emotions and thoughts, helping you stay calm and focused. Let's explore how journaling can help you control your emotions more effectively in daily life. Method 4. Writing in a journal. Have you ever wondered why your emotions change so unpredictably? You may wake up feeling full of energy, but just a few hours later, stress and anxiety take over your mind. So why do we feel this way? The answer lies in becoming aware of our emotions, and writing in a journal is an excellent tool to help you do that. Writing in a journal isn't just about recording what happened during the day. It's a way for you to consciously reflect on your emotions and thoughts. When you write down what's going on in your mind, you're not just recalling events, but also gaining a deeper understanding of your emotions. Journaling is a way for you to track your responses, identify the triggers that make you feel stressed, angry, or anxious, and most importantly, find ways to change those reactions. Linking to the previous methods, journaling reinforces the process of self-awareness. Remember the Stoic methods we discussed earlier, accepting fate and challenging your perspective. When you write in a journal, you practice accepting those emotions and events in life that cannot be changed, while also challenging how you view those events. Instead of letting emotions control you, journaling helps you rethink them and, in turn, change how you respond. So, how can journaling help you? When you write down your feelings and thoughts every day, you can easily identify patterns in behavior, emotional habits, and triggers of negative emotions. This allows you to become more aware of what's going on in your mind and heart, and ultimately change how you respond. For example, if you notice that you frequently feel stressed when you have an important task, you can write down that feeling of anxiety and dig into its root cause. Then, you can apply Stoic methods, such as negative visualization, to mentally prepare for that situation rather than being overwhelmed with worry or fear. Journaling is a powerful tool for self-awareness and emotional control. By recording your thoughts and emotions daily, you can gradually develop the ability to view situations more clearly and proactively change your reactions. Emotions will no longer be something that makes you lose control. Instead, you will learn to master your emotions, act from reason, and find peace in any circumstance. Real-life example. Imagine you're feeling frustrated after a meeting didn't go well. If you keep these feelings inside, they may turn into anger and lingering frustration. But if you write them down in your journal, you'll have the opportunity to stop, reflect on why you feel this way, and what could make you change. Journaling helps you realize that you can change this frustration, view the meeting as an opportunity to learn and improve, rather than letting it affect your mood for the rest of the day. Once you've developed the habit of journaling and improving your self-awareness, the next step is learning how to view life in a more meaningful way, so you can prioritize what truly matters. In the next section, we'll explore how to remember that life is short and how to live more meaningfully every day. Method 5. Remember that life is short. Our lives can change in the blink of an eye. You've probably heard the saying, life is impermanent. But have you truly grasped the profound meaning behind it? Life can end at any moment, and this is something Marcus Aurelius reminded us of. When we remember that time is limited, we begin to cherish every moment, instead of letting insignificant things take over our lives. So, how can we live more meaningfully every day? It's not just about going through the motions of life, but about knowing how to prioritize what really matters. When we realize that time is a precious asset, we stop wasting it on meaningless worries, trivial arguments, or things that aren't worth our energy. This helps reduce stress and anxiety, allowing us to find peace of mind. We often get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life. But think about it. Do long hours of work, endless meetings, or unhealthy relationships really matter in the grand scheme of life? When we remember that life can end at any moment, we start asking ourselves, am I spending my time on things that truly matter? We can change the way we view life to make better use of our time. For example, instead of worrying about work or unfinished projects, focus on what truly brings joy and satisfaction. Have you neglected personal hobbies, important relationships, or your personal goals in your busy journey? Life is not about the destination, it's the journey. When we live with the awareness of life's fleeting nature, we find it easier to choose what truly matters and is meaningful. And this shift in perspective brings lasting peace and satisfaction, because we know we are living purposefully, not swept away by the trivialities of life. Now that we understand the preciousness of time, how can we apply all of these Stoic lessons to our daily lives to control our emotions and live a peaceful life? Let's summarize the Stoic methods we've learned and explore how to apply them to live more confidently and with greater strength. So today, we've explored the 5 Stoic methods that Marcus Aurelius used to control his emotions. We've learned how to accept fate, understanding that there are things in life we cannot change, and how this helps reduce stress. We've realized that challenging our perspective is an effective way to change our views and minimize negative emotions. Furthermore, negative visualization prepares us mentally for the worst-case scenarios, while journaling helps us recognize and control our emotions daily. Finally, remembering that life is short encourages us to cherish every moment and live with purpose. Every day is an opportunity for us to change and master our emotions. Remember, peace is not something you find, it's something you create. Be the one who controls your emotions, not the other way around. The world may not change, but how you face it will determine whether you can live peacefully. If you find these methods helpful, don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments below this video. What do you think about applying Stoicism to everyday life? Share your experiences, and together, let's create a community of people who know how to live peacefully and freely. And don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom Daily to receive inspiring videos that help you become the best version of yourself. Join Wisdom Daily on this journey to master your emotions and live a meaningful life.